Hello friends, welcome to Plant Science Forum. In another previous lecture, we had discussed about the general introduction to photosynthesis. Now, I will be talking about the role of light and photosynthetic apparatus. This is the general reaction of photosynthesis. Here, you can see the involvement of sunlight for converting reactant into the product. Such imperative role is placed by light in the photosynthesis. So, it is important to study the chemical effects of light. This branch of chemistry is called as photochemistry. Generally, chemical effects are caused by absorption of ultraviolet radiation whose wavelength is between 100 to 400 nanometer, by visible light whose wavelength is between 400 to 750 nanometer, or infrared radiation whose wavelength is between 750 to 2500 nanometer. This image represents the portion of sunlight which has electromagnetic properties. These electromagnetic properties are reflected by oscillating electric and magnetic fields. As it is the spectrum of light, it has few characters that governs its properties, which we should understand first. These components are frequency, wavelength, and energy. The electromagnetic spectrum is consist of gamma rays, X-rays, UV light, visible spectrum, infrared radiation, microwaves, and radio waves. You must be aware of these terms. Here, the trend in frequency, wavelength, and energy of the electromagnetic spectrum is shown. Now see, the wavelength is increases from when we goes from gammas to radio waves. For the gamma rays, wavelength is low, and for the radio waves, wavelength is higher. When we consider the frequency of the radio waves is lower, whereas the frequency of gamma rays is higher. When we look at the energy, the energy of the radio waves is lower and is increases from radio waves to the gamma rays. So when we consider the relationship between wavelength, energy, and the frequency, at that time it is clearly understood that there is a direct relationship between the energy and the frequency. Means when energy is increasing, frequency is increasing, but there is an inverse relationship between the wavelength and the energy. That means it is the inversely proportional. When wavelength is increasing, energy is decreasing. When we study the properties of light, then it is evident that light has the dual nature, that is wave and particle. First, let's see the wave nature of light. This wave nature of light is characterized by wavelength and frequency. The wavelength is generally measured in nanometer. 1 nanometer is equal to 10 raised to the power minus 9 meter, and the frequency is represented by mu, whereas the wavelength is represented by lambda. The relationship between wavelength and frequency is given by this formula, where mu is equal to c by lambda. Mu is the frequency, c is the speed of light, and lambda is the wavelength. Now to understand the wavelength, look at this picture. This is the wave nature. Here the upper side is called as crest and lower side is called as trough. The distance between two consecutive crest or the distance between two consecutive trough is called as wavelength. Now see here, for frequency, suppose this is the point in universe, and from that point a wave is passing. Now when this wave is passing, look at this portion called as crest. The number of crest or cycle that will pass through that point from the space within a 1 second, that number is called as frequency. See here, the number of wave crest or cycle passing a point in a space in a 1 second is called as frequency. See here, as here the wavelength is lower, ultimately it means the frequency will be higher. But when we see here, for this portion wavelength is higher, so it means the frequency will be lower. Now come to next property of light, that is it shows the particle nature. When light falls on or interact with any matter, then its energy get divided into many units or particles. That isolated units of energy is called as photons. The amount of energy carried by photon is called as quantum. Now, this is the formula, just a minute. This is the formula which has been given to represent the relationship between the wavelength, frequency, and the energy carried by this discrete particle called photon. The energy is equal to h into c by lambda, where h is the proportionality constant called as Planck's constant, whose value is given here as 6.62 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule second per photon. As we have seen in previous slide that there is a relationship between the mu, that is frequency, and the wavelength. So that relationship is the mu frequency is equal to c by lambda. So in this equation we can replace the c by lambda with the mu. So the new equation becomes energy is equal to h into mu, that is energy is equal to Planck constant into frequency of the radiation. Now when this light falls on or interact with the matter, some amount of energy is absorbed by the matter. This amount of energy which is absorbed is depend on the wavelength of light which is being interacting with the matter. Now see in this graph, in this graph, now this black portion peak. This black portion peak represents the solar output, that means the energy radiation by the sun. Now see this red area. This red area represents the energy which is received by the earth surface, and this green portion it represents the amount of energy absorbed by the chlorophyll. This is energies by visible spectrum. So this complete representation is called as absorption spectrum, where we can see a solar output and energy received by the earth surface and the absorption of energy by the chlorophyll pigments. Now this is the place where all this drama of light is happening. See, this is the cross section of leaf which consists of palisade cells and mesophyll cells. Now these cells consist of a green color entity which is called as chloroplast. In the chloroplast there is a stack of coins. This stack of coins is called as thylakoids. If you look at the section of thylakoid, then it is a membranous structure. In them we can see a various proteins which are integral proteins, transmembrane proteins. There are various kinds. They are arranged for the flow of electron. Now this is the location where light plays its role in the photosynthesis. In the chloroplast, there are certain pigments which are responsible for absorbing the light energy. Most common among these pigments is chlorophyll. There are various types of chlorophyll pigments. All of them shows a complex ring structure, that is porphyrin rings, just like hemoglobin and cytochrome. This porphyrin ring is associated with the long hydrocarbon tail. Just see here. This is the chemical structure for chlorophyll A molecule, which consists of a porphyrin ring and hydrocarbon tail. There is a very minute a single bond difference between the chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Look at this position. Here in chlorophyll A it consists of methyl group, whereas in chlorophyll B it consists of aldehyde group. This is very minute difference of single bond difference in chlorophyll A and B. But whereas for for bacteriochlorophyll there is much more difference as compared to this, because this much portion they have the different bonding. Other than the chlorophyll there is also carotenoid pigment and the bilin pigments. Light absorbed by the carotenoids and bilin pigments and the chlorophyll B, it get transferred to the chlorophyll A. That's why these pigments they are called as accessory pigments. When light is said to be absorbed by the plants, this is the contribution made by various photosynthetic pigments in absorbing energy from visible spectrum. In this absorption spectra of various pigments, the various colors of the peaks correspond to the color of the pigments in the table. Now look at this. Now let's see action spectrum of light. An action spectrum is measured by plotting a response of plant to light such as oxygen evolution as a function of wavelength. Because such correlation between the plant response and the wavelength, the discovery of two distinct photosystems operating in oxygen evolving photosynthetic organism is made. Here the action spectrum is compared with the absorption spectrum. If the pigment used in getting the absorption spectrum is same as for the action spectrum, then the absorption and the action spectra would have been matched. But discrepancies has found in the region of carotenoid absorption, that is between the 450 nanometer and the 550 nanometer. This is the region for carotenoid pigment absorption, which indicates that the energy transfer from the carotenoids to the chlorophyll is not effective as energy transfer between the different chlorophyll molecule. Till now, we saw about the light and its absorption. Now let's see about the light harvesting complexes. In light harvesting complex, many pigments work together, serve as antenna for collecting light and transferring its energy to the reaction center, which now acts as the beginning point of the photosynthetic reaction. See here, this is the antenna complex. It consists of various molecules of chlorophyll B and carotenoids. Now this chlorophyll B and carotenoids, they trap the sunlight, trap the energy and transfer its energy to chlorophyll A. So chlorophyll A is essential pigment and rest other are accessory pigment. Now this essential pigment chlorophyll A transfer its energy to the reaction center where the steps leading to the photosynthesis it begins. Again, see here, this is the chloroplast and thylakoid. Chloroplast and the thylakoids, and this is the representation from thylakoid membrane. See here, this is the carotenoid, and these are this dark green color, they are chlorophyll B. Now these carotenoids and chlorophyll B, they trap the sunlight energy and passes that energy to the chlorophyll A molecule, which is shown by faint green color. Again, these are the in center carotenoids, chlorophyll B accessory pigment, trap the energy, transfer it to essential pigment, that is chlorophyll A. The same thing you can see here in diagrammatic representation, accessory pigment transferring its energy to essential pigment. Now this is how carotenoid and chlorophyll B trap the maximum amount of energy, transfer it to chlorophyll A and then to reaction center. This is how all this pigment system works to optimize the absorption of light energy. Now see how the proteins of electron transport are arranged on the thylakoid membrane. Importantly, look at the arrangement of photosystem 2 and photosystem 1. See, this is the light harvesting complex 2, this is the photosystem 2, and this is photosystem 1 and ATP synthesis. Look at these four. Now when we look at the light harvesting complex 2 and photosystem 2, these are mostly restricted to the stack region of the thylakoid, as you can see here, whereas the photosystem 1 and ATP synthase, they are mostly found in the unstacked region of the thylakoid membrane, as you can see here. This spatial separation is important because after the excitement of electron from photosystem 2, it must travel through various complexes so as to maintain the flow of electron and protons across the membrane, whose consequent production leads to the synthesis of ATP. now which is going to be used in the further process of photosynthesis. That's why this is the a typical spatial arrangement for optimization of electron and proton flow. This is all about the role of light and photosynthetic apparatus. We have seen the nature of light, that is it has the dual nature, wave nature and particle nature, how this light is interacting, all about the action spectra, absorption spectra of various pigments. Now in the photosynthetic apparatus we have seen the arrangement of various proteins on the thylakoid membrane. So this is all about it. I hope you might have understood the topic. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you.